Deuces Wild Bitches!
Woo! We're back. We're back.
Oh, it's good to have you back, Thrill. It really is,
Good. It's
man.
good to be back. Good to be back. I got home. It got to be 85 degrees again. It started to cool off a little bit today, so that's a good thing. And you and I were just talking. You guys got a few feet of snow, so we got different ends of the spectrum right here.
So you're telling me down there in parts unknown Louisiana, it was 85 degrees?
It was 85 degrees on Saturday. Yep. And I was hunting and swatting mosquitoes and had wasps buzzing around, all that craziness.
So when does it cool down? Because it does cool down, doesn't it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, we get like fronts that come through. And so, it'll be a perfect example is like tomorrow morning right now. I mean, it was probably, what do you think, Tommy Luke? It was probably 70 degrees down here today. And then tomorrow morning it's going to be 39. So, I mean, we get those 30-degree, temperature changes, and everybody wants to know why the hell they're sick. Well, that's the reason why.
Okay, well, we have a gigantic signing, which is Shohei Ohtani, that we had planned to talk about. But, Thrill, as you know, breaking news here.
Breaking news.
Yes, your San Francisco Giants.
San Francisco Gigantes.
They have signed Korean outfielder Jung Hoo Lee to a 6-year, $113 million contract. Holy shit, man. What do you know about him?
So I know that he is like one of the MVPs over there in Korea. He's basically a contact hitter. He had 1 year where he hit, I think, 23 homers, but he's not known for his power. He's known for more of his hitting ability. All the stuff that I've been reading online is the fact that he is a bad ball hitter. He makes contact with pretty much everything, puts the ball in play, which is probably why the Giants were real high on him. He's got a good on base percentage. Runs fairly well, not great, but runs fairly well. And he is the son of another Korean Hall of Famer. Matter of fact, his dad, he played for, I couldn't even tell you how long over there. And he's a Hall of Famer. His dad retired, and 5 years later, Mr. Lee wound up making the major leagues over there in Korea. So he comes from a good pedigree.
Yeah, Jung Boom Lee, known as the Son of Wind. And then ironically,
No, the
Jung Hoo
grandson of
Lee.
Wind. The grandson of Wind.
Yes,
his dad was the son of Wind.
No, his dad was a son of Wind, and his grandson is, or excuse me, he is known as the grandson of Wind. Yeah. Now, there's no real further explanation on how they got those nicknames, but man, it's pretty fucking cool. I'd like to be known as the son of Wind.
Yeah, like that's cool. Grandson of Wind, and he's 25, I guess, and so he's been in the league 7 years, but he's only got 69 stolen bases, so he doesn't have a whole lot of swiping of the old bag of Hoyers, but it says that he's an above average defender in center field, which is probably where he's going to patrol. But he's one of those kind of guys. I mean, just one of those Japanese, Taiwanese, Koreans, all of these guys who, swing, make a lot of contact, put the ball in play.
Yeah, there's one video that I saw on him where it was a fastball literally bearing in on his back knee, and he had a swing that was just like straight down, almost trying to protect himself. Very Ichiro-esque. He's the only guy that I've seen. People say Vladimir Guerrero Jr., but Vlad was a different animal. I mean, he could, he was toes to the nose, but he was toes to the nose taking fucking gangster hacks, man.
Yeah, no, yeah. Yeah, this guy's not taking a Vlad Guerrero hack, nor is he taking a Pablo Sandoval hack for that matter. But, I mean, hey, look, he signed a 6-year deal. One of the things that I'm going to be looking at, and I'll meet the guy in spring training when I go there. He did have a fractured ankle this year, cut his season short. I want to see, how he came back from the fractured ankle, how he's running, and especially pivoting when he's hitting.
Okay, so he hit 429, 500 on base percentage, 571 slugging during the World Baseball Classic. You mentioned at least some of the numbers, the 23 homers in 2022, 113 runs driven in, 996 OPS over 142 games. When you look at his walk to strikeout ratio, which I'm sure Farhan Zaidi dug into, he almost was 2-1. And it was pretty impressive where he had, nearly double the amount. I'd have to go back and look, but he had way more walks than he did strikeouts. And that's encouraging. The big question, though, Thrill, is will he be able to handle the increase in velocity? Because they simply don't see guys throwing upwards of 95 miles per hour in Korea consistently. It's actually very rare.
That's a great point. And in one of these articles here, it even addresses that. And he said that he's actually trying to make a swing change right now to deal with increased velocity. So we'll see how that plays out. But, you know, if it's increased velocity, it's not a strike. It doesn't matter anyway. So there you go.
Yeah, it becomes a little bit of a question mark because you can sometimes look at guys and you can tell it's the same thing that scouts going to look for when they're watching a young prospect, and that's twitch. And I was looking at some of the videos. He looks fine. If you were to ask me to analyze on a few highlights from the WBC, my response would be meh, right? Like, eh. But I'm not taken aback by any of his skills. He's 6 foot, 170 pounds. So it's not like it's this menacing force. If you were to ask me right now, I would tell you for 6 years, 113 million for a 6 foot, 170 pound Korean baseball player who's had success in the KBO. My response would be similar to what my response was when Ohtani signed that gigantic deal with the Dodgers. What the fuck
is going on? And you and I have not addressed it yet, and I knew we were going to talk about it tonight, but you played the sport, I played the sport. There's nobody worth $70 freaking million. Nobody. And on top of that, you got a freaking blown out elbow. You got Tommy John surgery. You're only going to be a DH this next year coming up. And granted, he deferred, his contract, which was extremely smart on his part. It's all backloaded, but, and it frees up some room for the Dodgers to go do other things. But, dude, nobody's worth that. And you know that. And, I mean, you're talking about this guy right here, talking about a contract that's worth 18 mil a year, 18 point something a year, like 6 a year. And, the guy has never faced major league pitching, and he's coming off a big time injury. So I don't get it. I really don't get it. There are a lot of other things where for me personally, I would have been pursuing. Pitching that's out there. You got Blake Snell, the current, Cy Young winner, who's got nasty stuff. Jordan Montgomery, Corbin Burns, Dylan Cease, Tyler Glasnow, and Shane Berber are just a few of the names of guys that are kind of proven and they have won in the major leagues already, and they're out there, and you probably get them cheaper. So That's my thought on that.
Well, the question would be, where's the major upgrade? Because you have Yastrzemski, you have Haniger, you have Conforto, you have Austin Slater, you have Luis Matos, you have Wade Meckler. It's kind of more the same. If you told me you were signing Aaron Judge, I'd be like, yeah, okay, I get it. If you told me you're signing Cody Bellinger even, I would say, I get it. So then the question becomes, did they have a chance to pursue Bellinger? Was that a realistic option? Because to pass on Bellinger for an unproven guy, I don't think Bellinger's going to do much more than 113 million. He might do 150, but not much more.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And you got Rookie of the Year and MVP, all that sort of craziness. You get comeback player of the year. I definitely agree with you. And he's not the only other option out there. I mean, there's other guys too. So it's kind of interesting. I mean, if you look at the Giants website right now, literally, and I'm not a big, huge Maria Gordato fan, but she posted at 1:35 p.m. Giants off-season plan B should center on pitching, and literally 4 hours later, whammo, the Giants signed an outfielder. So, me personally, I know that we didn't come out of the winter meetings with much. Matter of fact, we didn't come out to winter meetings with anything. This is our first legitimate signing, and we'll see what happens from here. But the Giants need to put together a few more pieces of the puzzle.
Yeah, I gotta believe that they had no shot at Bellinger. That Bellinger basically said, hey, look, I'm going back to Chicago. I'm, gonna
did he sign or no?
No, Bellinger has not signed. So again, like, I gotta believe they didn't have a chance at him, but I don't want to sound like a broken record here. You're looking at a guy that's, he's so unproven, man. And it's so risky. And to do it on a short-term contract, let's talk about the benefits, though, because he is just 25 years old. But my only issue with that, and it's not the age, it's obviously that's a great age to be if you're signing a free agent where Bellinger is older and any other free agent on the market is typically always in that 30-year-old range. But Thrill, John Hart used to tell me something when I worked with him at MLB Network, and one of my favorite people I've ever been around, one of the most knowledgeable baseball guys I've ever been around. And he would say, Bernsey, this is what they look like. This is what they look like. And what he was referring to is what a first-round superstar type player, just, whether it's Stanton or Joe. I mean, obviously those guys are a little bit of aberrations, but give me a Bellinger even. 6'3", lanky, strong, room for growth. Dude, 6 feet 170, bro. I don't. So if he says he's 6 feet 170, he's probably fucking 5. And it doesn't mean that little guys can't be good, because they can. It's been proven time and time again, whether it's Jose Altuve, who I think is a little bit of an aberration too, because this guy's a little fucking fire hydrant, or it's Alex Bregman, who is just so damn good at his craft. But these smaller guys can be good, but where's the upside? Like, is there a chance? There's a legit chance, right? 6 fucking years, man. We know how hard it is to hit a ball out of Oracle Park. He might not hit 20 home runs in one season over the course of a 6-year contract. There's a really good chance. The most he's ever hit in the KBO is 23. And then every other year is a lot less than that.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing, and then you're coming into MLB, increased velocity, bigger ballparks. So I don't know. We'll see. Put it this way, you know, this is a Farhan Zaidi move, and we'll see how it plays out. He likes guys that put the ball in play, and he likes on base percentage. So those are the things that he deals with. Um, you and I talked about it. You get a guy like this, 6'1", 170, and his nickname's grandson of the wind, but he's only got 69 stolen bases. It's like, dude, when you get on first, you can't just chunk the anchor out there if you're going to be our leadoff hitter or number two hitter. You got to be able to run a little bit. So we'll see what happens.
So listen to these numbers. Let's see here. The Heroes. It's I guess the name of the team, right? The Kawoom Heroes.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, after 7 seasons of the KBO, they allowed him to seek an opportunity in Major League Baseball. If he stays in San Francisco for the entire contract, the Giants will owe the Heroes an $18.825 million posting fee, bringing their total outlay to nearly $132 million, which is essentially the same shit you could have got Bellinger for.
Agreed. Totally agreed. So don't get it. I don't get why they're going that way, and especially since Farhan and Bellinger have a working relationship. I mean, he was in the Dodgers organization when Bellinger was there. So we'll see how it plays out. I'm not going to second guess anything. I got to see these guys on the field, see what happens, and hopefully this is just the first of like a few because all right, Alex Cobb had surgery. He's not going to be able to be ready for the beginning of the season. So there's a starter we got to replace. And then another thing too is now that the last regime is gone. Hopefully we're done with these. You know, as you and I call it, the bullshit bullpen games. And we get back to lengthening out guys. We get back to starters being starters and relievers being relievers. And we got guys in the organization that can do it. You guys who are in, the chat room right now, you saw the Kyle Harrison, Tristan Beck. That's just two of the names of a bunch of guys who have the opportunity here in the next few years of making it to San Francisco as starters and being really good pitchers.
Yeah, back from Stanford. I saw him throw in college. Legit.
Yeah, yeah, and we got a kid down. Well, he was in Double A when I was there. I don't know if he's still in Double A. He's in Triple A. Kid's name's Landon Roop, Roupp. He's had a little injury bug last few years, but man, if this dude stays healthy, oh man, is he nasty? I'm talking about 94-mile-an-hour power sinker with a big hook and a changeup. Um, he made it. I saw him when he was on a pitch count. Right, he was on like a 40 pitch count, and like 30 pitches were strikes, and he went through 3 innings like he was just like a man among boys.
So, Thrill, any final thoughts on the Ohtani deal? I mean, obviously, $70 million. He's not going to pitch for at least another year, year and a half. He doesn't play a defensive position. Now, I think he's capable of playing a defensive position, but they obviously don't want him out there if he's pitching and hitting, and it doesn't look like he's going to throw at all over the course of next season. It's crazy. I guess we could justify it a little bit because the international superstar, but
yeah. But here's the thing. So, all right, where can we put him on the field where he doesn't have to throw? All right, likely choice would be first base. They have Freddie Freeman over there. All right, so he's not going to play over there. If they do put him at first base, that gives everybody and their grandma the green light to go run. I mean, it's just like, let me take off early, let the pitcher throw over there to first base, and Ohtani throw a freaking grenade down to second base. All right, it's going to be like running on acid right there. Another thing, and I'll let all y'all in the chat room. I'll let y'all fire away on this. How about spending 70 million for a freaking DH? You think that's freaking good baseball strategy or what? I mean, come on, man.
Yeah, I do. I feel like we sound a little critical right now, and we're both positive guys. So, but it's just
hey, another thing too. Let's call it like it is. All right, it's the Dodgers. Fuck them. Let them fucking spend all their fucking money for all I care. They can kiss my ass. They've been beating our asses up and down the last few years. We need to turn this shit around and beat their asses. There you go.
That's right. That's right. Well, I think they're going to have to get a little bit.
You can post that shit right there.
We have a green light on that, then we'll post it. Boom.
Boom.
If only social media saw fucking 90% of the stuff that we actually don't get to post. But I'm glad we got your approval. It's true. But the Dodgers have been great, man. They literally have been showing a willingness to continue to spend year in and year out. Obviously, this Ohtani signing it's put them over the top. It has. They're paying $2 million a year, Thrill. Two.
Yeah.
Two.
Yeah, exactly. And then their big thing is they want to freaking dominate the division, which they have been doing. They just, with the exception of that 1 year where they won the series, they just haven't got past that first round. But I mean, other than that, I mean, everybody in our division has to play catch up, which is including us, because you have to win in your division. You can't count on the wild card every year. You have to win.
Yeah. In other news, Juan Soto traded from the San Diego Padres to the New York Yankees. He's in the final year before he hits free agency. I got to imagine the Yankees' goal would be to lock him up. This is one of the best young hitters we've ever seen. He's been remarkably consistent, and he's been healthy essentially his entire career, logging in about 160 games a year.
Yeah, and then not only that, too, I even said it was a 7-player deal. San Diego gave, Yankees 2. They gave him Soto and another guy, and then they got 5 of the Yankee prospects over there, especially their pitching prospects. So San Diego came out pretty good on that end of things. Juan Soto, with his swing and I guess you want to say kind of how the Yankee ballpark is, he's made perfect for that yard. He might hit 50 this year.
Seriously.
I mean,
you're right.
No, I mean, he's built perfect for that yard. That ball shoots out of right center at Yankee Stadium. And, at Petco, you had to poke one on out yonder. So, like I said, he might have 50. So, for me personally, I think it was a good deal for the Yankees.
I think this is a good time to introduce Yankee, my French bulldog, to the show because Thrill, she was sitting down below me right here, and I had to walk over there and open the door because she's been farting in my face the entire show. So I now got to clean it out. But as you can see, look, her ear, like most Frenchie's ear, they prop up like this one, but she continues to get in fights with Eleanor, our other bulldog. They just go at each other. The two bitches, like literally bitches, female dogs, get at it. So we got to keep them separated now. But here is Yankee. Perfect timing for the Juan Soto news.
There you go, Yankee. Get your ear up there. No floppy ears, Yankee. Get that ear up there and quit farting on your dad. Go eat some decent dog food. Don't get in that crap again.
All right. So here's a kind of a fun news story because we talked about this before, but Tom Brady was a huge Will Clark fan, and he actually was in the dugout and had a chance to meet you when he was, I don't know, was it like 12 years old or something? Yeah. And now Tom Brady, today on Tom Brady Day, 12/12, they're coming out with a card. And it says this, it says before he became a 7-time Super Bowl champion, won 3 NFL MVP awards and set numerous passing records on the gridiron, Tom Brady was a Montreal Expos draft pick as a catcher in 1995. We'll never get to see Brady try his hand at a baseball career. We got a glimpse at how he might have turned out in a video. In a video the former NFL quarterback shared on X on Tuesday morning. And basically, it was as if Yankee just turned off my light. Come here. So they created this card of Tom Brady that he signed. And there's a few of them. And one of them is actually like, he signed them. What if baseball doesn't work out, there's always football. And they're saying one of these cards could go for as much as $500,000.
Oh God.
Seriously, right?
Yeah, no, that's craziness. But another thing too is, you and I had talked about it. There was a video came up. I know Tommy Luke saw it. I know Big Mike saw it. I know Josh saw it. Where Tom Brady was doing an interview. He's talking about coming in the dugout and meeting me for the first time and all that. And I kind of gave him a little bit of grief because he was just sitting on his ass instead of being a bat boy. But anyway, it was fun, and it's a small world type of thing. You and I even talked about it, where his sister lives like 2-3 doors down from you.
Yep.
And is married to Kevin Youkilis, the Red Sox, former star. And I reached out to, thank you, by the way, for giving me her contact. I reached out to his sister, Tom Brady's sister, and said, hey, look, if you and Kevin and Tom and whoever ever want to come to a ball game, a Giants game, I'd love to host you guys, in a suite and stuff like that. And she replied back and said she was going to pass it along to Tom. I haven't heard back. I'll follow up here pretty soon, but it'd be fun to have me and you and Euclid and those guys up in a suite and just have a good time. If he's in the Bay Area and all that. So
yeah, it's pretty cool, dude. I played against Tom in football and baseball, and the irony is that I thought he was a much better baseball player than he was a football player, but we were so dominant on the gridiron that it was tough to see how good of a quarterback he was because he couldn't get the fucking ball off. Yeah, we were in his face every time he dropped back. So again, tough to get a good read. And we told him that when he was lying on the ground. We're like, hey Tom, look, man, it's tough to throw a football from your back. It's all good. I'll see you out on the baseball field.
Yeah, hang with him. Yeah, we'll see you out there later. But 7 rings and a bunch of near misses later. First ballot Hall of Famer, without a shadow of a doubt, best that ever played that position. And then, he played that position in the modern game, which is probably even tougher. So there you go.
Question for you, Thrill, because I talked about this on the Daily Hustle the other day. We're in the midst of the football season. Biscuit was asking me about Barry Sanders. He's like, how good was he? I said, Biscuit.
Oh my God, how good was he?
I told him Barry Sanders was the best running back to ever live. And period. And like that's how much I think of Barry Sanders. So then I went on. I said, the best receiver of all time, Jerry Rice. Then I went on. The best quarterback of all time, you could have all the debates you want. It's Tom fucking Brady. Yep. Then I went one step further. It's like, well, what about like a Bo Jackson? Bo Jackson, the best athlete who's ever put on a football uniform. So those are my picks.
Best linebacker. I'll give you a 50-50.
Okay.
All right. Lawrence Taylor or Dick Butkus. One or the other. Give me either.
I never saw Butkus play. So
he was a
LT.
beast. He was a beast.
Dude, LT, when he was in his prime, and I don't know if he was all jacked up on blow or whatever.
Oh, yeah, he was.
It didn't matter.
Oh, yeah, he was.
Well, this motherfucker was the baddest dude on a football field, the fastest guy. I mean, there was you know who else like in his prime, as far as like a defensive tackle, Bruce Smith. I mean, that dude was a beast. Greatest safety, Ronnie Lott.
Yep. I'd give you Ronnie Lott. And if you looking for a safety that wanted to hit and kill somebody, Jack Tatum.
Okay.
There you go. So now, it's kind of neat that, we're bringing up the football end of things, being that, we are in the midst of football season headed towards the playoffs. 49's been doing well. They had some big games lately that they won. So, I'm always following the 49ers just because, we same hometown type of team and all that. It's a little different now that they're in freaking Santa Clara playing in the sunshine as opposed to, Candlestick. But I still follow them. The guy that's leading the charge for them, the Purdy kid, man, he's just doing a great job of running that offense and not turning the ball over. And you do that and you let the players do what they're supposed to do, and all of a sudden you got a bunch of big W's.
Yeah, and it's funny because this is why the conversation came up, because I said Christian McCaffrey might go down as the greatest football player to ever play. Now, I'm not going to call him a running back, right? He's not a better running back than Barry Sanders. He's not a wide receiver, but you put him in this role that there's so many things he can do. I remember, I think it was last year, the year before, where he threw for a touchdown, he ran for a touchdown, and he caught a fucking touchdown in the same game. Like, just it's insane. Like, I think he's definitely one of the best football players we've ever seen. The Niners, so long as they can win out here, Thrill, they're going to the Super Bowl. Like, they might not have to hop on a flight to go anywhere else the rest of the season but Las Vegas. And that's it. And that's for the Super Bowl.
Wow. That's pretty awesome that you said that. But, I was just thinking when you were talking, everybody has different views on everything. And for me personally, and especially when it comes to football, because I'm not a huge fan, but I know the history and all that sort of stuff. But, Barry Sanders, put it that way. We even brought that up. Oh my God Almighty. Barry Sanders, the moves that he put on people, you just sit there and you shook your head. And then you look at a guy like, Walter Payton, Sweetness, and he was just tough as nails, trained to the hilt, would run you over, but then outrun you, run around you, put a move on you. And then you look at somebody like a Jim Brown that was just a freaking human tank and would just run over people. So it's kind of, you get the arguments as to he's the best, but it's just kind of what kind of guy you want, but yet for me personally, you stand there and you got 7 rings on your finger, and how many playoffs you went to and how many almost Super Bowls and stuff like that, dude, you're head and shoulders above anybody. So Tom Brady, there you go, partner.
So, Thrill, your name comes up a lot when the argument begins about who had the greatest swing of all time.
Yep. So,
let's take you out of the running for a second, and I want to know your opinion on the top 3 to 5. Give me 5. Give me top 5 sweetest swings of all time besides yourself.
Left-handed, I'll give you Tony Gwynn, Ted Williams, Lou Gehrig. That was a 3 right there. I can't do any better than that. Right-handed.
Hold on a second.
What's that?
No Ken Griffey Jr.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna shove Ken in there. Ken's in there. Don't worry.
You got to, right?
Yeah. Oh, without a shadow of a doubt. Ken's number 4. All right. Now you're pushing an envelope on number 5. Okay. Right-handed, without a shadow of a doubt, my best is Edgar Martinez. Without a shadow of a doubt. All right. And then you could chunk some other guys in there. But Edgar, as far as pure sweet swing, head and shoulders above any other right-hander.
The
Oh,
guy
and
that
the
I
reason
would,
why, all
the,
right, all
the,
right. So the reason why I chunked in Ted Williams, okay, not only a splendid splinter, okay, but the fact that I got Ted Williams' swing secondhand. The guy that was my kind of hitting guru when I was in high school. He was in AAA with the Red Sox. His name was Barry Butera. He was an international league batting title winner, and he learned directly from Ted Williams in spring training. So I got Ted Williams's theories and approach secondhand. So that's why I'm such a big Ted Williams fan.
wow.
Yep.
What general philosophies or approach can you share with us that you remember Butera sharing with you?
So when you are, in your setup and all that sort of stuff, you only have to go from here to there. And as soon as you do that, the ball's gone. After that, you can kind of do whatever the hell you want. You can finish flat, you can finish high, you can kind of finish however you want. So we're going right here and we're going wham, straight to the ball. And as soon as you make contact, dude, you are no longer in control. That ball is gone, and you can do whatever you want. My big thing was I got through it, and I wanted to keep my leverage going all the way through it, and when my hands started rolling, so I'm way out here, and my hands are rolling, so now I'm up high. I had to let go, and that's where the old cape and shit like that came from Kevin Mitchell.
That cape was so fucking badass.
Thank you. Hello, Miss Tara Burns in the audience tonight.
Hello, honey.
Yes, your husband had a chance to see Mrs. Thrill. That would be my wife, Lisa. She popped in earlier before we went on screen, said hello to your hubby.
Yeah, it was great to see Lisa. So, Thrill, back to this for a second. I talk about the A to B, right?
Yeah.
And really
Yeah.
what another way to put it would be taking the knob of the bat and taking it to the baseball, in which case the barrel follows. Did you
Correct.
think about that?
We
Or
did it all the
is there
time.
was
We
there
talked
another
about it
way
all
that
the
you
time.
thought about getting to that
Dusty,
position?
Dusty Baker and I talked about it till we were blue in the face. Dusty was a big bottom hand guy. All right. So here you are. All right. So, all right, for everybody in the audience, let me turn this. So if I am coming at you, all right. So wham, I'm pulling my hands at you. Look what's coming right behind it. Barrel
First
of the
place.
bat, and it's completely square. So wham, boom, there's your ball hit. And so what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to keep my hands kind of inside the ball. All right. So if the camera's the ball, I'm keeping my hands inside of it, and wham, the freaking barrel of the bat squares up immediately. So that was some of the lessons, that I learned from Dusty, Tony Gwynn, every one of them son of a guns that could hit, hit, that came down to first base. And we talked about that stuff. We talked about it all the time. And now, I go into clubhouses and I'm trying to talk hitting with these guys, and they're like, I got it. I'll do this. I'll do that. I'm like, you know what? I mean, let me just put it bluntly. Motherfucker, you couldn't hit your way out of a wet paper bag, you little bastard. You need to pay attention to what the shit somebody's telling you. That's what needs to happen. Sorry.
Mic drop.
Boom.
That's it. Mic drop. It's true. Bro, the problem is that you got all these modern day hitting gurus that think they have all the fucking answers. And the reality of the situation is that they have no gosh damn clue. Now, don't get me wrong. I do think we constantly need to be revisiting how and why we do things. And so for years, it was taught by all of us, or it was taught to us, or our generation, to swing down on the ball. But the reality of the situation was that we were swinging down, and people still do swing down because the hands go from here to here. But
If
then
you
the
got
barrel,
if you got your hands up and the ball's down here, you have to come down.
you have to.
You have to come down. But the thing that we tried to do was come down and get on the same plane of that ball as quick as possible and stay on that plane. And that's what the difference is now. Instead of coming down and staying on the plane, they're wanting to start down and come up at it, and that's where you got problems. Danny Gomez even said it in the chat room. He brought up a great, freaking great dude was Kirby Puckett. I mean, Kirby get on first base, and he was chatty Cathy over there. I loved him to death. But Kirby and I, we talked about certain things, but there were certain things that I could not relate with him because I was trying to get the strike zone like this, and Kirby would go way out of the strike zone. He could hit shit that I never could hit. I wanted it to be in the strike zone and manipulate the strike zone. Kirby would say shit on it. If it was 6 inches out the strike zone, whack, and he was a better Pablo Sandoval. Let's put it that way. Pablo Sandoval, bad ball hitter extraordinaire. Kirby Puckett was the next level of bad ball hitter.
The best right-handed swing and sweetest right-handed swing that I ever saw, and I am going to put him above Edgar. And maybe that's right, maybe it's wrong. It's a very subjective opinion, obviously, is Manny Ramirez.
Oh, there's a good one right there. There's a good one right there. Oh, and the thing I loved about Manny, all right, and Edgar did this too, but I saw Edgar so much more, and I saw Edgar working early and all the stuff that he did. But the thing about Manny was Manny would literally sit on pitches and let stuff go. Yep. And you and I have talked about this a lot in the past, to where I'm on first base going, no, do not throw that pitch. Do not throw that pitch. Wham! It's like, oh, God almighty. I knew he was all over that one.
Yeah, I pulled up videos of Manny the other day to show Biscuit because I wanted him to understand that he could have a big leg kick. And I think by nature, some guys can do it and some guys can't. But I think by nature, Colton has always been a leg kicker. So I just need him to be able to leg kick, without the head going forward.
Yeah, no, I get it.
And so in order to show him how that's possible, I pulled up Manny. And he was just like this, man, like,
yeah.
Right? Head still on mic. Watch. Head still on mic.
Here's another thing. If you wanna pull up another guy too, who's a leg kicker, Buster. Pull up Buster. All right, same thing. Yeah. But if you notice, Manny and Buster, both of them get 2 strikes, and that leg kick gets a lot smaller. Yep. I mean, a lot smaller. They cut out damn near a whole move and waited a little longer on the ball and stuff like that. So I'd chunk Manny in the right-handers. I'd chunk Buster in the right-handers, in the top 5 and all that sort of stuff. So
I agree.
I think you're doing good. Another one, if there's some iconic photos. I mean, iconic photos. Joe DiMaggio.
Oh, yeah.
Very, very similar to Edgar in getting extended and staying through it and stuff. And then And then probably, probably the best that's ever lived is Willie Mays. I mean, he did it completely different. But if you see some of Willie's older, videos, oh my God, he was all of the man.
He had a lot of moving parts, man. The ones that I remember, it's like here, and it's like this, whatever. It's like whack, man. He had a fucking stride for days,
Yeah,
and then
but
boom.
yeah, exactly. When he hit the ground and he decided it was time, all hell broke loose. It was a big, violent move coming through there.
DiMaggio, and it's tough to tell from the old footage, but he looked to be very rotational. Does that make sense? Where it was he would look like he was really wide and just whack, whack. Talk about getting on playing with the ball. Whack. And just line drive, line drive, line drive, line drive. And his bat to ball skills were completely next level.
Yes, agreed. Totally agreed. Here's and this is the great part about this thing where you give you your top five, and all of a sudden these guys start popping in your head of guys. Yeah, you know all of the new guys, but then all the old guys, it's like they did it, and they did it sometimes 50 times better than the new guys. Look at a guy like Stan Musial. I mean, he had a kind of a different like little crouch and all that sort of stuff. But dude, everything he did looked exactly the same. It was so beautiful to watch. And so for me, being not only a fan of the game and working in the game now, but also knowing the history of the game and saying, hey, you look a lot like this guy, and you need to watch some videos of this guy and do what he did.
Yeah.
And if they buy into the program, fine. If not, I ain't got time for you.
Fuck them. Hey,
Yep.
so Stan Musial, somebody told me to look up his numbers. And they're like, dude, this is arguably, the greatest player ever. Like his stats are that good. 331 batting average, 417 on base percentage, 559 slugging, 976 career OPS, 475 home runs. He had, ready for this? 1,599 walks, almost 1,600 walks, just 696 strikeouts in his career. So more than double the amount of walks than strikeouts. You'll never see that again, ever.
No, and Luker, you got to help me on this one because I know we talked about this before. What's he got exactly the same as? It's like he's got the same hits against right-handers.
Yeah, we've talked about him. I think it was
Luker,
home and road hits or home and road
we
batting
talked
average or
about it
something.
before. What's Musial got? But it's just amazing some of the stats. And you look at him and you go, oh my God. And then all of a sudden you look at Willie Mays and you go, oh my God. And you look at Willie McCovey, you go, oh my God. Just some of these stats are mind blowing.
So I think the fairest way to do it is obviously you compare players within their generation. It's who did you play against?
And yeah, exactly. No,
it's the easiest way to do it.
I think that is a great way to do it. No kidding. I mean, I'm not kidding you because, the guys from the 40s and 50s, the guys from 60s and 70s, guys from 80s and 90s, guys from 2000s, I mean, they all have their own like little niches, and they own their own things that they had to do. I mean, the guys today in this game could not hit in the 80s and 90s with the strike zones that we had to deal with. The 6 inches, 8
totally
inches
different.
off the plate, But then these guys today have arguably better arms that they're facing.
They do.
Even though we did have, quite a few legitimate, high-powered arms, I'm facing a lot of 88 to 90 guys, but they're making it move and they're using 6 inches off the plate and they're trying to get you to bait and stuff like that. So, I totally agree with you saying that within the generation that you ought to make like a all whatever team, however you want to do it.
Yeah, Thrill, we got about 10 minutes left here. I've been itching to open. We've had this old pack sitting here of 87 tops. I want to dig into a new one. So I'm going to go bust open a pack and let's get after
by
it.
the way, Tommy Luke just said it. It's 1,815 hits at home and 1,815 hits on the road. That's what it was. I knew that there was a unbelievable stat over the course of a 24-year career that it like stood out like a sore thumb. So thank you, Tommy Luke.
Well, dude, Thrill, you said it. It's a matter of consistency.
Yeah.
And that is
Yeah.
It's the benchmark of all great baseball players is they're fucking consistent. It's like I was really good, Thrill. I was really talented, man. I did a lot of really good things, but the reason why I wasn't, say, on your level was just consistency. I was just as good as you for a fucking week, for 1 week. But then I took the next 3 weeks off and you kept going.
Yeah.
You're right.
That's the thing, and I try to tell these kids this, right now it's, hey, dude, you got to grind, man. It's this sport is about getting ready, in spring training for a 6-month grind that you're going to have. You're going to have the days where you're shitty. I'm talking about can't even freaking find a baseball. But you got to find a way that day when you're 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts. You got to find a way in that 4th at bat to freaking foul off a few pitches and get a walk or dunk a doinker in or something to where you get something positive out of that day to get to the next day. And those guys that grind like that, and you did the same thing. Man, I tip my cap to him, man. When you figure out how to grind like that, that's being a major leaguer.
I tell the boys, as I did this weekend when we played down in Huntington Beach, big super regional NIT with the Let Them Play kids. I basically told them, I'm like, look, if we have any chance of doing what we want to do and take home this chipper, you guys got to fight for inches.
Yep.
Fight for inches. And so before Sunday's game, I pulled up the Al Pacino Any Given Sunday speech and I played it for him. Oh, it's so good, man. It is one of my favorites of all time.
You're a beauty.
Hey, man.
All right, what you got for me here? Break them out.
So here it is. The 1987 Topps pack. We have the gum, which is 35 years old. It's in perfect condition.
Don't do
per
it.
tradition. Every time we open up one of these, Thrill, we got to fucking do it, man. Ready?
Oh, God.
Listen.
Stop him, Tara.
Listen
Hurry.
for the crunch. Here it comes.
All right. Oh, God. Ellie. Oh, my God, ladies and gentlemen. He does it to himself. Do it to yourself. You got to be kidding me.
You know what the fucking whacked out thing is?
It sounded like fucking pre-nut brittle when you're biting into it. What the shit?
It tasted the same way 35 years ago.
I never ate it back then. Good Lord.
All right, dude.
Here we go.
I'm not kidding. This is the first ticket right here.
Oh, Ruby. Mike Kruko, ladies and gentlemen. That picture was taken in Old Scottsdale Stadium. That is the Green Monster in Old Scottsdale Stadium. There's not enough accolades I can give him. took me under his wing, taught me how to be a major leaguer, gave me a house to live in. I became Uncle Will to all his kids, and just till this day, he and I are tight as thieves. And he calls me Roomy, I call him Roomy, and I love him to death.
The next one, I loved Kruk to death. I had a chance to work with him in a game for YouTube a couple years ago. It was a favorite game I've ever called. It was just an honor to share a booth with him. So, Mike Krukow, a fucking legend. Here's another legend in the New York Mets world, Ray Knight.
Oh, wow. Good one right there. Ray Knight played for the Reds. Also, the Mets.
I didn't know that. Reds, Astros, Mets?
Yeah, Astros too, right?
Yep.
Was it Astros too? Yeah.
It was.
And Ray Knight, part of the Miracle Mets. What was that? 86?
86.
That was? 86. Also, a little known fact, Ray Knight was a Gold Glove boxer. And if you ever saw the video of somebody sliding into third base, he popped up, hit Ray Knight, and whammo, off they went. So Ray Knight, I still love him. Married to Nancy Lopez, the Hall of Fame golfer, the Women's Hall of Fame golfer.
Really?
Yep.
I thought she was living in the Bay Area.
No, she's married to Ray Knight.
Yeah. Wow. Yep. Okay, I know she had some affiliation with Los Altos Country Club. Here's an interesting one right here. See if you got anything on Leon Durham.
Oh, the Bull. The Bull. Hell yeah. Leon Bull Durham. Early 80s. A fixture in the Cubs lineup. And not only hit for power, pretty decent first baseman, believe it or not. Fit right in there with Keith Moreland and the rest of the cast over there with the Chicago Cubs in the early 80s.
Yeah, pretty consistent 20 homer guy.
Yeah.
It looks like through the course of his entire career.
Yep. Pretty solid all the way around. Good dude. Enjoyed talking to him at first base.
You got anything on Greg Brock?
Greg Brock, Dodgers left-handed hitter, was supposed to be the next George Brett, and kind of did not lead up to that. I think he also played for the Brewers as well, if I'm not mistaken. But remember him vividly from the Dodgers.
How about Jack Howell?
Jack Howell. Oh my God. I saw Jack Howell last year. He was one of the managers. All right. Wait. Eugene was playing who? They were playing the Angels affiliate, and Jack Howell was the A-ball manager.
Yep.
Jack Howell and I had a lot of laughing and giggling and talking kind of the same crap that we talk here, where he goes, these guys just don't listen. And he said, I tried to tell them, and, I'll take batting practice with them and show them up. And he goes, they don't get it. And Jack Howell, believe it or not, he could flat out rake. Jack Howell could hit. So,
yeah, I had Jack along the way in the minor leagues. A good dude. Just really, really.
There you go. Stephen Luger even said it. Tri-City Dust Devils. That's exactly who it was. It was Tri-Cities that Eugene was playing when we were there.
How about Jim Sundberg?
Oh, so Jim Sundberg was a Kansas City Royal, and then after that, he became a Texas Ranger, and he is still in the front office with the Rangers. So he just got a ring this year. He was a big league catcher. He caught for a long time. I know he went to some all-star games and stuff, and just a big league quality player. I want to say he played like 17 years or something like that. As a catcher, that was big time.
This is wild right here, dude. Because this is 1987. I mean, you played with this guy. I'll say with him. You didn't play with him, but same time period. And he broke into the league in 1963 with the Cleveland Indians. He then played at this point. I mean, this was through the 86 season, so he had a card in 87. I mean, that's a long fucking time to play baseball. And knowing more for his surgery than anything else, Tommy John.
Tommy John. Believe it or not, you're going to laugh at this one. I faced him in A-ball. He was, whoever he was pitching for on the major league level, he had come down for a rehab. And the thing that everybody said was, he can't throw a long way now because he's rehabbing. So they said bunt on him, and like everybody and their grandma tried to bunt on him in our lineup. But Tommy John, before he had the surgery, was one of the top echelon pitchers. He threw hard. He had a good breaking ball and all that. And then he reinvented himself after the surgery as basically a thumber with a good changeup, and could just kind of spot his pitches. And I mean, Jim Cott is a Hall of Famer, and
I love Jim Cott.
If you look at Tommy John's, if you look at his stats, they mirror Jim Katt's. So I mean, he could be a Hall of Famer as well.
Yeah, I'm convinced that Jim Cott got in. I mean, look, the guy pitched for a long time. The argument against was that he was a 500 pitcher, but you look at all the numbers, he fucking did great.
He pitched 24
he's one of the
years,
great.
and you're talking about Tommy John. Tommy John pitched that long as well, so they mirror one another.
Jim Cott's one of the better people I've ever met. Like the two best people that I met at MLB Network were Jim Cott and what do you call it? What do you call it? John Hart.
Okay.
John Hart. Like if I could adopt a father and a grandfather, it'd be John Hart and Jim Cott.
There you go.
Just awesome.
Yes, Pete Kinney. It is a tip of the cap if somebody calls you a coon ass. So that's okay. That's a good thing.
A question, because I've never seen this guy before. I'm serious, and I follow baseball religiously. He had in '85, he had 18 home runs, 48 RBIs, a 521 slugging, and he hit 306 for the O's in 1985. He's got a big old belly coming over his pants, but just looks like one of those guys that like to sit down and have a fucking beer or 19 with.
Don't tell me. Wait. Don't tell me. Don't. Boog Paul?
Nope. Floyd Rayford.
Oh, my God. Yeah, Floyd. We could have a beer and have a freaking barbecue sandwich with Floyd. Oh, dude. He was a beauty. He was one of those guys, just let me hit. I don't care what I look like. He's one of those guys.
All right. A couple more here. Willie Wilson.
Oh, my God. Leadoff hitter for the Royals when the Royals were really good. Frank White hit behind him, and then you had George Brett and company coming up behind him. Willie Wilson was part of my growing up because we got a lot of Royals games, so I had a chance to see, Willie Wilson, Frank White, and George Brett quite a bit. And center fielder that could absolutely fly. He was along the same lines of a Willie McGee.
Yeah, and then Preston Wilson. There's a story here because Preston was adopted by Willie. And I don't know. I'd have to relook up the full story. And Preston's a beauty, man. I worked with him at MLB too. He's very much he listens to audiobooks all day. I love that about him. And he's very opinionated, and actually I thought was really, really good on the network. That's probably why he's not there anymore, because he was opinionated. Is there any chance You would know this guy, Bill Campbell. Looks like maybe a relief pitcher from the
Oh
Tigers.
God, yeah. Bill Campbell was a relief pitcher from the Brewers,
Okay.
and
Twins,
like,
Red Sox, Cubs, Phillies, Cardinals, Tigers here at this point.
yeah, he kind of made the rounds, but I mean, he was actually pretty decent. Why he made the rounds back then, I don't know, but I remember facing him. I was like, damn, this guy's got pretty decent stuff.
I have a feeling you're going to have a story about this guy,
All right.
Tom Browning.
Oh my God, what a beauty! Oh Lord, God Almighty, I love that guy. Last time I did the Major League Draft for the Giants, he did it for the Reds, and we shared quite a few beers and a lot of crazy stories. Tom Browning was a part of one of the fastest games I've ever been around. We were in Cincinnati on a getaway day. It was 1,000 degrees on the AstroTurf, and he was hooked up with Rick Russell. And Tom Browning worked extremely quick, as did Rick Russell. We were in the top of the seventh. It was an hour and 15 minutes, and it was a 1-0 game. It was I spent more time running in off the field than I did out on the field. But my story about Tom Browning is he squared around to bunt in Candlestick, and he bunted the ball off the plate. It popped up and it hit him in the nose, and down goes Frazier, right? And they bring the doctor on the field, all that sort of stuff, and they set his nose at home plate. He had broke his nose. So they set his nose, and then they put 2 pieces of tape like this over the top of his nose, so he looked like a freaking raccoon, right? And I I went up to home plate the next time, and I'm looking at him, and I'm howling, laughing, and he goes, "Fuck you, Will, get in the batter's box." I said, "I can't. I'm laughing, you freaking raccoon." So that was my Tom Browning story, but I know that I love him to death. He was a big leaguer. He was a big leaguer for a long time. He was one of the guys that did it the right way, and sadly he passed away. I think it was last year he passed away.
Tom Browning did?
Yeah, matter of fact, now that I'm looking, yeah, I was right. Yeah, Stephen Lucas said he passed away damn near a year ago this week. I mean, December 19th, 2022. So thanks for that, Luke. I appreciate that.
Let's raise one up and pour some out for Tom Browning.
Here's to you for a freaking full-on gamer right there.
So, what about the Nasty Boys?
Oh God,
how good were they?
They were real good. You just kind of had to like pick your poison almost. I mean, you had Norm Charlton, John Franco, Randy Myers were from the left side, and then you had Rob Dibble from the right side. And needless to say, me being left-handed, I saw them all. I would have to say, believe it or not, the guy who gave me the least amount of trouble of anybody was Franco. Randy Myers and we had some great battles. I had some good balls off of him. It was just right at people. And Norm Charlton, believe it or not, he was just out of all of them, he was the nastiest. And on top of that, he cheated like a bastard. But hey, look, it was gamesmanship back then.
Dibble, it seemed like, did he throw the hardest? He was straight 4-seamers in your ass.
He was straight. He was another one of those guys. If they had the modern day guns on Dibble, he'd be throwing 103, 104.
Yeah. Two more here. And this is the guy that I got to face actually for my first big league at bat. I used to pretend like I was taking ABs when I was in college at UCLA. I'd turn on the Dodgers or the Angels. And so there was one night where the Angels were on TV and I was up there like this in front of the tube downstairs, and I'd just gotten out of the shower. So basically I was butt ass naked, and fucking around with my roomies by pretending like I was taking this live at bat against Chuck Finley. And then the irony of this, Thrill, is that when I got called up to the big leagues a few years later, the first guy that I faced in the big leagues, Chuck fucking Finley.
And you were like naked facing him on the TV. So you should have had a good hack off of him.
I hit a bullet back up the middle, man. What else do you want?
Hey,
base knock.
Look at you. 1 for 1. Take that, Chuck.
I just had clothes on for this one.
Yeah. So Chuck Finley, stud for the Angels for so long. Fastball, big split finger, threw a freaking awesome split finger. And not only did you face him, but I faced him for a long period of time. The whole time I was in the American League, I faced Chuck all the time. Angels were in our division with the Rangers. So, stud, hate to say it, but he had a kind of an ex-wife, Tawny Katane, from the White Snake videos, flopping around on the car and all that. And evidently they got a divorce because she was beating him up with shoes and shit like that. And she wound up passing away, believe it or not. So, but Chuck is a stud, and I enjoyed facing him.
All right, we'll finish with this guy right here. We've talked about him before on Deuces Wild. Dominican Dandy, I believe. Let's see here. Toronto, when you look at his numbers, like, holy shit, he was better than I ever even thought he was. George fucking Bell, man.
Oh my God. I love that guy. George Bell. He is the baseball version of George Foreman, the boxer. He has George 1, George 2, George 3, George 4. Just like George Foreman. He's a mess, but God almighty. He occupied the middle of the lineup for the Toronto Blue Jays for a very long time. A lot of homers, a lot of RBIs. One of the premier hitters in the major leagues during my tenure there as well. I was in the National League for the majority of the time. He was in the American League.
Hey, Thrill. I mean, as we get to the end right here, I gotta go back and let's see here if I could find it. It is somewhere around here, or maybe not. It's gotta be. Wait for it. I'll find it on.
Don't worry, I'm
right
waiting
here
for it. I don't know what I'm waiting for, but I'm waiting good.
Just keep waiting. The holiday season is off and rolling with the NFL in full stride and the NBA and NHL in mid-season form. Bet Online is your number one destination for all your sports wagering info. With up-to-the-minute sports wagering news, odds, trends, predictions, Bet Online is a top spot for everything pro and amateur sports, and not just the Big Four. Bet Online has info available at your fingertips with both desktop, mobile access at any time. Head to Bet Online today and remember to use the promo code BLEAV, capital BLEAV, for your 50% off welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet Online, where the game starts.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, and if you have a gambling problem, please call the Thrill, and he will set your ass straight.
Yeah, and if you have a drinking problem,
I think
call Dad Water. This is the Steve right here. The grapefruit will take care of it. Make sure you guys fulfill your drinking needs. This is the Rodney, the blood orange one. It's tequila. It's water. They have the Gary, which is my favorite one. That's the pineapple jalapeno. It's fucking fantastic, man. Dad Water. And if you're listening on Apple, Spotify, or anywhere else of these 17 different platforms that we go out to, please do us a favor. Leave a review. how and why we're not the fucking #1 baseball podcast each and every single week makes me want to puke. Like, what is wrong with people?
I totally agree with you. Hey, I went on, matter of fact, one of the reasons why we weren't able to do the podcast last week was I went on a hunt with one of the guys who's on the Outdoor Channel. His name's Chad Belding. Big, huge San Francisco Giant fan. Lives right there by you. He lives in Sparks, Nevada. And we actually were talking about the guy with Dad Water because he knows him personally. I said, well, then if you know him, I said, you and Eric Burnham know the same guys.
Yep.
So
done. Well, I met him through one of the guys that was at your retirement ceremony.
I got you.
And I signed a can, one of the guys with Dad Water, and that it was the Keep Chugging, and I signed like a Coors Light can. But yeah, no, we're gonna do some work with them. We got to hash out some of the details, but I can't think of any better sponsor than a tequila and water company. It's, obviously a healthy combination right there, and make sure you're hydrated when you drink.
Right up your alley. I know we had been doing 818 to kill you for a little while. Are we still doing that or no?
No. 818 stop sending shit, man. They're out. But if they
moving on. We're moving on. We're doing Dad Water, Jack.
Yes.
Fire it up.
And if you or your company, by the way, and we are doing fucking like literally millions of impressions over the course of a month. We put out the shows between social and everything else. So if you or your company interested in sponsoring Deuces Wild, we have a banner ad we could actually put at the top of this. That's for sale. We got all kinds of other shit. We can continue to work you guys in. We could put the little freaking logos here, the logos there. Dude, we're going to look like a fucking NASCAR before this is all said and done, motherfucker.
Hey, he's pimping me out. Whatever you guys want, that's how the Thrill and EB roll. We'll be having stripes on our shoulders and, put something on the brim of the hat, the whole works. I mean, we'll be rolling.
Absolutely, dude. All right, it sounds like mass chaos has ensued downstairs, so I'm out of here. I don't know what's going on. Hopefully, everyone is still alive at this point. Dogs and people. Holy shit.
Spinach gnocchi or something like that you're going downstairs for.
Is that what Tara said?
Yep.
Spinach gnocchi.
Earlier in the chat room. I don't know exactly what it was.
She actually walked up here. She was hanging out for a minute. I think she wanted some airtime.
Well, I mean, Lisa was wanting some airtime. Nah, I'm messing with you. She don't want any airtime at all. But anyway.
All right. Well, we'll do a couples night one night here on Deuces Wild.
Yeah, no, that'd be great. So.
All right. Are you back?
Hey, good show, man.
Thanks, man. Awesome. Great show.
Enjoyed it.
Next week, let me know if you're available, dude. And it's on.
I'm ready to go. Put us on, Jack.
All right, everybody, do us a favor. Tell a friend. Share the podcast. Whatever it takes. We're going to #1.
And then as far as that goes, bring a friend when you come on. I mean,
Truth.
Jesus.
Truth. And I know I say this all the time, Thrill.
Yeah.
We're going to bring people on. I didn't even look at the knock room tonight. It's
we had
Andre and Luke.
The characters. We had 15 in here tonight. But another thing too, it's not baseball season, it's holiday season. So I get it.
Bro, this is going out to the masses. Don't worry about it. And for everyone, I appreciate it. Just like Thrill said, tell a friend.
You got it.
All right, buddy. See you next week, man. See ya!